I'm saying? How did you do that, bro?
Man, it's really how she pulled me, man. That's the question.
Oh,
man.
Lord Jesus.
We have been on the app for a couple of days, man, and it's like she pops up, and I'm like, let me see who this is. Gymnastics. I ain't never, I never really paid attention to gymnastics, so it piqued my curiosity, So I'm like, okay, I'll see what's up. I swiped her, and it said we matched, so I'm just like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna see what's up. So I go do my workout, and I come back. And I get I had some likes on my Instagram, and I'm like, oh, this might be. I'm like, okay. Like I was saying, man, she messaged me. This was like a Tuesday, and we were texting back and forth, and then we hung out Friday, man. And we couldn't do much as COVID happened, everything was shut down. So she came through down to Houston. She lived in the suburbs, so she had to drive about 45 minutes to me. Then the rest is history, man.
So you was really the catch in.
I always say the men that catch, man. I always say
I don't know why y'all mad at him. He just telling the truth. They did that interview and he basically told us a story about how Simone Biles chased him. So yeah, he is the prize. This is why I never tell women to chase no man. Like, you should never be proposing to no man. You should never be approaching no man. People ask me this all the time. Like, you never approached a guy? No, I never have a day in my life. A day in my life, I would never approach no man and ask him out on a date. Why would I do that?
When you are, as a woman, are pursuing a man, it makes them feel like they're the prize. He goes on to talk about in the interview how, they met on this dating app and she kept messaging him first. She even drove 45 minutes to come see him on the first date. Like, it always seemed like she was in the role of the pursuer. Now, that's how men talk about you when you are the one pursuing them. I always say they chase, we choose.
Do you know who Simone Biles is?
Yeah.
Do you know who her husband is?
He's in the NFL.
Yeah, but do you know who he is?
No.
Exactly.
So right now on TikTok, you have this whole thread of women. I mean, there is hundreds of videos of women going up to their spouses and asking them if they know who Simone Biles' husband is. There is a thread of all these women trying to diminish this man, all because, I just want everybody to keep in mind, this is all stemming from the fact that he said that men are the prize. All of a sudden, he has been, made the poster child of trying to force men to diminish themselves to be with a woman. Women everywhere, okay? It don't matter what they think of you as a person. It don't matter if they like Simone Biles or not. Women everywhere are standing on their soapbox and are trying to force this issue that you guys need to fit into the Disney, fantasy, fairy tale mindset that we have been told since we were little girls, whether you men like it or not. And so we're not going to stop until we potentially bring this woman's husband down.
Hey everyone, this is Rock from StageandSky.com, and we got to talk about this Simone Biles and her husband, Jonathan Owens situation. Right now, it's been a couple of weeks since the whole thing broke out. There are a lot of content creators who have talked about it, and they hit a lot of good points. But there are some key issues, some Christian takeaways I think we should really derive from this lesson. Number one, I've done a video about how this world seems to worship women. But I will say, I think there is a lot of pressure on women, and I call it the perennial high school mentality. Rock, what's the perennial high school mentality? What is that talking about? Well, it has a lot to do with social media. Think back to when you were in high school, right? In high school, there were the popular kids, no matter what era you went to. I graduated in 2005, right? And the cool kids, whether they were white or black, they got to reign and decide what was cool, what was popular, right? So if you wanted to be in with them, if you wanted to not be seen as a loser, or, oh, you're lame, or you trifling, you had to do what the cool kids were doing. Sometimes what the cool kids were doing were stupid. When you graduated high school, when I graduated high school, social media was just on the rise. MySpace wouldn't come out till late 2005, 2006. You kind of felt, okay, glad it's over. That's behind. High school is done. What social media has done with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all these social medias, it's perpetuated the perennial high school mentality where the cool kids are still in charge. The ones who have the loudest voices are still dictating to everyone what's cool, what's lame, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. This is a problem, especially when it comes to women. I say this with a grain of salt because not all women are like this. I'm just putting that out there. But between men and women are more dependent on the herd. They're more susceptible to what's the herd doing, because honestly, biologically and evolutionary and even I would say religiously, men can get kicked out of the herd and still survive, if not do better. Women have always been dependent on her. There's a video about the 50 differences between men and women.
Males are more likely to exhibit aggression physically, while females are more likely to exhibit aggression verbally. This difference has been documented in almost all other mammals. We used to attribute it to testosterone, but now we know that it's because we've evolved to process anger differently. Males have a larger amygdala, which is the center for aggression. Females have a larger and faster maturing prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for inhibiting aggression. These brain differences exist because they've helped our survival. Females are generally smaller than males, so being violent towards someone twice your size is a great way to put an end to your genetic legacy. Females are often vulnerable because they're encumbered by pregnancy or infants, so their survival has been contingent on their social group. If you're still unconvinced, look at the modern jungle, the high school. Boys fight with their fists, girls fight with gossip.
When it comes to the Simone Biles incident, what I saw here, everyone who's lashing out and attacking Simone Biles, they're not attacking her. They're trying to make an example out of her to scare other women into holding the lines. It's not just to pressure women, but also to pressure men, as if to say, don't ever say you're the prize. You better know your place, boy. Because a lot of men, especially black men, who are raised in this matriarchy where women are in charge, where they're raised by the mothers, not their fathers. So if the women say, hey, this is the way you need to act in order to be accepted by us, a lot of men will cave into that. A lot of black men will cave into that.
The Simone Biles drama was so interesting to watch. Here you have a world-known gold medal gymnast who slid in a man's DM. He didn't know who she was. And women were so triggered by him making it seem like he was the prize. And what I couldn't understand was, if Simone herself slid in his DM, wouldn't that suggest that she, on some level, saw him as a prize too? I think there was outrage because there's a large group of delusional women teaching other women the delusion of a man isn't the prize unless he's reached a certain economic, reputational, or financial level. Or they're teaching even if he has those things I just named, he's still not the prize. He just qualifies for me. And Simone's response of, are y'all done? Was so gracious because she's not triggered at all. She's at home, married with her husband, while the woke, modern women are in shambles because Simone was able to find happiness with the kind of man that their modern feminist mentality told them to overlook. It exposed how desperate some women are to maintain the illusion of superiority to men when we don't want to compete with you.
Hold the lines. What kind of lines, Rock? Well, what did Simone Biles do? Number one, she went after the man she wanted. I'm kind of skipping ahead here to the other lesson, but I'm just going to jump to it. Why are women not allowed to have the ambition to go after the man that they want? Right now, everyone's talking about how, women are outpacing men when it comes to education, careers, Star Wars. When I say Star Wars, I'm talking about the Hollywood industry, like they're being directors, they're, in the politics, they're starting to on the rise and they're, okay, go girl. Yeah. But when it comes to the man that you want, the guy that they really want, they won't make the first move. They won't throw themselves at them. Why?
He told us a story about how Simone Biles chased him. So yeah, he is the prize.
It makes them feel like they're the prize.
Giving them power. The sisterhood won't like it. We're supposed to be here. The men are supposed to chase. And that pressure on women to hold the lines and not make the first move. Don't ever think that to yourself that the man's a catch. That is keeping a lot of women single. It straight up is. I feel sorry for those ladies. Very often we're always talking about equality and how, anything a man could do, a woman could do, except when it comes to make the first move, when it comes to making the approach. That's a horrible thing. And I think it's a horrible thing when it comes to today's culture because we also live in the culture of the Me Too era.
Because more and more you're seeing that, for example, if a man touches a woman's hand or maybe just cold approaches her and asks her on a date, it's harassment, I'm being harassed. Just kind of a very unjust accusation to say I'm being harassed. Obviously, if the man's asked her 10 times and she said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, please leave me alone, and he keeps doing it, then that's when you get into harassment. But like the first time they come up and ask, or even another time,
we don't cold approach the way we used to in the 90s and early 2000s because we've seen, he's creepy. A lot of ladies, even myself, I like to think I'm a good looking guy, but I'm 6'3", 200 something pounds, right? A lot of ladies, their first default expression when they see me and they don't know me and I just approach them, the default reaction is, it's like, dude, sorry to bother you, man. and they'll keep it moving. Another reason why I think ambition is such a big thing when it comes to women is the whole power thing. I'm going to talk about the ego there, but I'm going to hit on the power. Let's talk about power thing, right? A lot of ladies in the comment section say, well, if you make the first move, then you're giving him all the power. Why do people have that perception in mind? Let's say you do give the other person the power. So what? You got what you want, which is him. Why is it so important to you? Especially to my Christians, all right? Right now, I'm reading the book of, my mom gave me this publication about Jesus Christ, and it's about his life. I've already read the whole entire Bible multiple times, but it's good to keep reading it so you're reminded of these things, and very often you can glean other insights that you missed the first time. When it comes to Jesus Christ and his birth, we just had Christmas. A lot of people tend to gloss over his humble beginnings. This is our Lord and Savior. You know, this is the King of Kings who will one day rule in the kingdom of heaven, right? Jesus Christ came into this world born in a horse stable. They didn't have any place to put him, so they put him in a manger. Manger is a place where hogs and horses eat out of. Like, that's the humble beginning. And I think God did this to teach us a lesson, to not seek these materialistic things. I thank God for Simone Biles and the way they talked about how their first date went. You know, they went and got milk and cookies. And a lot of people put in the comment section like, damn, you know, like these athletes, worth well over 6 figures, went and got milk and cookies. We got this average person over here talking about, oh, I can't be seen in a cheesecake factory.
He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
Let's talk about the ego and narcissism. This is another thing. I know everyone's already talked about the whole prize thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get with someone and you guys get married, you're both prizes to each other. I'm not entirely sure where or why people have become so concerned about that. I think, alright, this is gonna sound really bad. I think it's a self-esteem issue. I think that those who lack self-esteem in their own accomplishments, they are more concerned about wanting to be seen as a prize or being perceived as a prize than those who aren't. Meaning, Jonathan Owens said, oh, I'm the catch. His wife was right there.
He might, because the other day I said, you know what, in a couple years, nobody is gonna call him Simone Biles' husband. They'll call me Jonathan Owens' wife.
Everything that I see here was that this is a man of self-respect. And to me, there is nothing more that the world cannot stand most than a man who respects himself and has self-worth and honors himself. A man that will not bend or break or fold or diminish himself. People cannot stand that. They want to break you down and humble you. Okay, calm down. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, everything that you think you are, you're really not. It can't be just you. You can't be the magic. You can't be the prize. You can't be the catch.
If you see someone that you like, that person is the prize in your mind. That's the truth. You know, the trick there is for you to meet this person and convince them that you are also the prize. And very often, if they ask you to go out with you or they accept your invitation to go out with them, they've accepted that you are a prize too. So why are we so hung up on this? I think that has a lot to do with the whole breakdown of gender roles.
How do you deal with a man that is more sensitive than you?
It gets strange for me in conversations like these when we talk about one party being more sensitive or more soft. And a lot of times that kind of boxes men in, and it's alarming because if a man can't be sensitive and soft in his relationship, then where can he be? Like I don't know too many men that don't want to take their guard down with their old lady. Like I don't want to have to come home and protect myself from you. Like do you know what I gotta go through out in the world, and then to have to come home and guard and tiptoe with you because I can't be vulnerable? Like even when we use the word soft, bruh, a man being hard all the time will destroy him. Get you a man that gotta be hard all the time and see how he handle you. Brother, a man has to find softness in himself to properly handle those parts of you. Empathy is like a huge quality that's necessary for a healthy partnership. And in order to empathize, one almost has to see oneself. And if a man can't see himself in your emotions, if he can't see himself in your softness, then again, what do you think he's going to do?
Like, we compliment each other. I think we just need to stop lying to each other, bottom line. There's a saying that the reason why a lot of men self-deprecate or downplay their accomplishments is to make the other person feel like they're an equal. You could say the same thing for women, right? A couple of years ago, when I was on online dating sites, I matched with several beautiful black surgeons, and those, to be a surgeon and to graduate from law school and to graduate from medical school, that's no easy feat. So I imagine those ladies might have an uphill battle when it comes to dealing with men who, like they were 26 and they were smoking hot and they're surgeons, and if you're dealing with someone around the same age and they're not that accomplished, I imagine they have to deal with the same thing where they're worried about, I gotta downplay my accomplishments or else this other guy is gonna feel like he's less than or inferior. But I think it's all about your mindset, right? If you go in thinking that, these things are going to bother someone. When I talk about things like my being an author or being a Christian, I don't say that to say, look at everything I accomplished and how much better I am than you are. It really is just because those are things I enjoy. Those things bring me fulfillment. And very often, because those are unusual things. When I say unusual, I mean that there's not many authors that right? Like how often do you meet someone who's published multiple books or read the entire Bible cover to cover multiple times and all that? And I'm not saying that to say, this is how much better I am than you. Like those things just bring me pleasure. And if you're going to be a part of my life, I want you to be a part of it. She doesn't have to be as accomplished as I am. And I think I can convey that without diminishing myself. If she has it in her mind that, oh man, he's done this and he's done this, man, he's out of my league. It kind of sucks, I'm like, no, you're not, we're not the same. That's why I often look for ladies who aren't, again, too caught up in the culture, because you can talk to ladies who are old fashioned like I am. There are a lot of, I don't want to use race, but like a lot of Latinos, I can give you an example. A lot of Latinos grew up old school, where their parents taught them this is how you behave as a woman, this is how men behave, so I don't need to like bend over backwards trying to explain my accomplishments wouldn't be as intimidating to them. And furthermore, as a Christian, I always think that, so say if I got the surgeons and they made more money than I did, even though I'm maybe older and, they make more money, I wouldn't be daunted by that. I wouldn't feel like, man, I'm not living up. I'm not measuring up, because the Bible does say that men are to be the head of the households and men are to protect and provide, but I can provide a nice lifestyle. I may not be the lifestyle she wants, in which case she would need to decide that before she marries me, but I can provide. And the thing that's really important is getting with someone. This is why I actually, there's someone who got mad at me in my last essay because I mentioned King Solomon, and they're like, oh, look, he's comparing himself to King Solomon. Yes, we're supposed to. When it comes to applying the Bible scriptures to our life, the lessons to our lives, that's what we're supposed to do. We look at what happened to them and we compare it to what's going on in our lives. Anyways, the reason why I say that if, getting with a Christian who is someone who's striving to do what's good in God's eyes, it's like if we're both putting God first, then it doesn't matter what our accomplishments are. Like no one should feel inferior or superior, both of us are saved and we both have our roles. So even that's a beautiful thing when it comes to being Christian, is because, Rock, who's supposed to be in charge? Who's supposed to be leading? I don't know. The culture's saying this, I think I should become stronger, or you think you should because you make more money. I don't know what to do. If only there was a higher power who decided these things for us. I know, let's go to the Bible. And of course, the Bible says it clearly, plain as day. Right now, our society, since I would say 2009, when you had Lady Gaga and Beyonce just tore up the scene and take over the charts, they've been pushing this equality notion that we're all the same, that we're no better or worse. And we all know that deep down, that's not true. I'm 6'3", so I'm taller than most men. I do keep in shape. I used to weigh 370 pounds, so I'm healthier than most people my age. We are not equals the way people want to assume that we're equals. And I think there's a comfortable reason, I think a lazy reason, why people want to believe that we're all equals, because it implies that you don't have to do anything and still have the same level of respect and value as another person. That's not true. And I'm not talking about the genders here, I'm talking about the individuals. So I can go on and on. This video, I don't want this video to get too long, but that's mainly why I wanted to push. There's a lot of lessons in here. I would tell my fellas to look out for these red flags when it comes to women you're dealing with, meaning, because I saw some TikTok videos where ladies who have nothing to do with the whole Simone Biles situation, and ladies of a different color, well, that has nothing to do with anything. It kind of does, because black culture is more affected by this whole sisterhood mentality than I would say white culture. I think white culture is more diverse, meaning there are some who are part of the whole, I want to be hip hop, I want to be down, but by and large, because there are a majority of white people in this country, there are different cultures that are more accepted, as opposed to black culture, where if you're not hood, if you're not hip hop, if you're not R&B, you're just me, where you just, what? You like to write and read on the weekends? You like to work out? That's it? You don't like to go to clubs? You don't speak slang? You don't wear your pants down your hip? You don't know who Lil Wayne or the Migos is? we're kind of not ostracized, but I think deep down a lot of ladies already assume that because we're not part of the culture, we're not going to go along. But kudos to Simone Biles and her husband. I hope they stay together forever. Beware of the ladies who are in popular culture. Those who are on their phones when it comes to TikTok and Instagram, and they care so much about, it's almost as if they worship other women more than they do God. What are women saying? What's the sisterhood saying? As opposed to what God is saying. And also the humbleness, the meekness. If you're concerned about who has power in the relationship, you're in the wrong relationship. If you're concerned about who's the prize in the relationship, you're in the wrong relationship. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you think about the whole Simone Biles situation. It was an awesome thing to see Simone Biles and her husband, and all the content creators who spoke up and talked about this, because again, the culture. Well, not just the culture, but mainly ladies. I really hope they have the strength to just stand up on their own and not care about what the sisterhood is thinking. You know, like, just go for what you want. Don't let that opportunity pass you by. You keep doing this, you're gonna hit your late 30s, your 40s, and those men, like I said, I'm 37. I'm not looking for someone who's 37. I'm looking for someone who's early 30s, mid to late 20s, you know, because I still want a family. All right. Thank you.